So when it comes to getting Odin loaded up and running the right way on your Helio spring and on your frame and everything like that, there's a few things that you do want to consider, and there's a few tips and tricks that I have here and just a couple configuration settings to go over, and hopefully this will help some of you out and get the most and enjoy what's going on. So let's get into the desktop here and show you what is happening. So the first thing you need to do is you need to join the Helio Slack, which is at flyhelio.slack.com. You'll get an invite, you'll accept it, and if you don't have Slack, create an account, you'll be all in there. Once you are in there, there are a couple threads, and you're going to click on the Odin public beta thread, and then up here you'll click on pinned items. And over here, this is going to be your configurator, your actual hex, and then there's also some instructions and some other important information that they have put up here for us to use. So feel free to ask any questions and all that kind of stuff in here. The group keeps getting larger and larger, and the testers and devs are super busy. So if you don't get an immediate response, don't get out of hand. I guess you just kind of have to wait your turn, but there's plenty of people on here that should be able to help you. So if we look at the configuration side, this is the configuration that I'm running in my videos, and I'll put the card up here. This is on my 5-inch reverb, 2207 2450 motors, and 4S 1500 battery, 30 amp HV SpeedX ESCs. I am running multi-shot, which is still the preferred method. I'm running 3232 with the accelerometer on, and we are overclocked to 216. So you're going to have to go into the CLI, and you're going to have to type the set overclock CPU equals 216 megahertz command and save that. So make sure you do that. Also, don't forget, as soon as you flash the firmware, to type IMUF update and update that IMUF. So once you're done with that, go back and take a look at the configuration here. If you leave your accelerometer on, definitely set your arming to 180. And remember, we don't need any of this stuff on. No anti-gravity, none of that type of stuff. So make sure you don't turn that on. In the receiver tab, kind of like a best practice that some people are also doing is changing the RC interpolation interval. Normally on like regular Butterflight or Betaflight, this will be set to auto, but the devs have found out to make it feel and even more responsive to change it. So you'll see yours at like manual 14, and you can play around with this number. Some people are running between 10 and 8. I like 9. It just makes everything feel really good to me. Please, please, please set up a black box switch. You know the Helio has black box built into it. Do that. Go into black box. Set your logging rate to either 4 or 8K because you want it as close to the 32 as possible so you can capture as many frames as data as you can. And then take those black box logs, throw them into Plasmatree. If you don't know how to use a regular black box viewer, take a look at your PIDs and start adjusting your PIDs. Come back into the Butterflight black box viewer, which is outside of the CLI, right out here, and open your file in there. Take a look at your gyros and see what's going on. See if you've raised your Ds too much. A lot of people run with a lot more D than you actually need, especially if you are using the right PID controller. So let's talk about that real quick for people who don't like to read. The way that the profiles are set up right now, Profile 1 is set up with the legacy Betaflight PID controller. So the Butterflight PID controller is something that all the Butterflight devs and the Helio devs have been working on that basically just changes the behavior of D and how it works. So if you're on Profile 2, you actually are going to be using the Butterflight PID controller. You can go and make any of these profiles, Beta or Butter, by going into the CLI and typing in a command that's pinned in the Slack. You're also going to want your set point at 0, which I don't think it even works right now because it doesn't need to work the way that the PID controller is working. Turn VBAC compensation on. I run fine with it. And then just run stock PIDs and see how things go after you set your rates and everything. You're going to need to come back a lot and start changing PIDs. You can see these are, well, no. These are the PIDs that I am running right now. And some people might say, wow, that's incredibly high, but you know, they work. The plasma tree graphs look good. The video looks good. The quad fly is sweet. So I love it. Also in filtering, this is another important thing to look at in the black box viewer built into Butterflight, because if you're over filtered, your gyros and your D is going to look like crazy little shark fin waves all over the place. So as you lower your D and you dial in your PIDs more, your noise and everything like that is going to shift and it's going to start to lower, and then you can start playing with filters and stuff a little bit. You know, it's really kind of up to you if you want to dive right in and change some of these first and try to work with the default PIDs, but I would probably recommend go ahead and working with PIDs first and then coming back in and using your filters. So get it as close as you can, take a look at the black box, see what's going on, see which axis has the noise on it, and then start playing with your filters. I have left my IMU-FW at 32, and I think a lot of people have as well. Most people run without a notch. I have my notch turned on, even though I don't think it actually is working because I have the cutoff set to 0. So I might as well just turn this off. But it's working, so I'm going to leave it that way. So finally, definitely think about your quad setup. One problem I see a lot of people talking about is like, oh, I get MTOs. Well, a lot of people get MTOs because they haven't tuned their quad or because their powertrain setup just isn't right. Myself, I was using a very high-pitched prop on a freestyle on a 5048 prop. I actually dropped down all the way to 5040. It crushed my noise levels went down, my gyro improved like 20-fold. I was able to get a great tune out of it, and I don't even notice anything. Like the quad feels so good and so great with the lower pitch props. It never used to be that way. It used to just kill the feeling, but not anymore. Everything just feels great. So I hope this helped you guys out. Definitely hop into Slack and see what's going on. One more thing at the end, don't forget to set some TPA. And if you are looking for plasma tree stuff, I also have a live stream that I'll link right here. And there's other people that have done videos on it as well. And I'm going to be doing a lot more on it too because I really believe it works. So that's it. Talk to you guys later.